Hi everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism, narcissistic relationships, healing from narcissistic relationships, and making sense of them. So this is a topic we've talked about in different ways on this channel, but I don't think I can put too fine a point on it because the questions keep coming in, which is, really, Dr. Ramani? Do narcissistic people really not care? Let's break that one down. Because this is a revelation that really holds people back from healing. So do they really not care? No, they really, really don't care. It's really a simple, simple truth that is incredibly complexly painful. It's hard to hear. It cuts to the core of a key confusion in these relationships, though. They really don't care, even though it seemed like at times they did. So maybe the bigger issue here is, what does it mean to care, right? It's a complex combination of empathy, compassion, consistency, at times putting another person's needs first. It's to listen, to really listen, to be present with another person. I mean, those are some of the top notes of what it means to care. It's not just something that you say. To care is something that you do. And narcissistic people will walk around and spout off about how much they care. I care about you. I care so much about you. I care about my kids. I care about my family. I care about my employees. It's words. And it's words that the world often wants to hear. And once they hear someone says they care, we assume like, oh, they care. Frankly, when the narcissistic person says that they care, what it really means is it means that then they're able to get supply. To care also means to be able to have this concept of another human being separate from you, with separate wants, separate needs, separate hopes, and that both people in the relationship are able to be okay with the other person's separateness. And that is something that a narcissistic person is not able to do. And that means they really don't care. I have to say, this must be one of the most difficult aspects of radical acceptance. And the shape-shifting nature of narcissistic relationships makes this even more difficult to digest. Most of you will say, no, I don't agree. There were moments they took care of me when I was sick for a few days, or they were really sweet with me on the day of my mother's funeral, or they were amazing in the delivery room when our son was born, or she made sure that I had new clothes on the first day of school. And those were moments that were peppered within a relationship where there was actually far more invalidation, selfishness, manipulation, gaslighting. So when you do hold on, euphoric recall, when you do hold on to some of those seemingly good and real moments, it can be difficult to lean into the idea that they don't care. You may feel, no, they cared sometimes, but that's not how it works. That's not how care works. Care is an on switch. It's a switch that's supposed to always stay on. It may not mean a person's perfect. For example, just because we care about someone doesn't mean that we're always 100% attentive to them, or that we're always at their beck and call, or that we take care of them all the time. It's not that. The caring part is that maybe we aren't always physically or psychologically there with them, but that if they needed us to the best of our ability, we will attempt to be there in the way that we can. A phone call, a hug, a ride to the airport, a quick dinner out. And that we wouldn't lash out at someone for inconveniencing us or expecting us to listen to them. To care means that we do not invalidate, do not degrade someone, do not minimize someone. Caring is as defined by what it is as what it is not. Caring is not about the big, bright moments we got it right. Caring is about a long game of not letting someone we allegedly care about down. And for this reason, you may get confused. Well, they cared that day, but they sure as hell don't seem to care on this day. The real conundrum of narcissistic people is that they do what works for them at any given moment. So caring will show up on a day that it matters to them, or it's convenient for them, that it makes them look good, or that it feels good for them. To feel cared for in a narcissistic relationship is a bit of luck. That your need or want coalesced with them wanting to do it on a given day, or they just wanted to do it and you got to be the recipient of it. So when the cracks really show in these relationships, you may try to have the go nowhere conversation of, don't you care about me? It's the wrong conversation and it's the wrong question for a narcissistic person. Because if you ask them that question, don't you care about me? They will most likely get angry or defensive and say, obviously I care. I'm here. I'm married to you. I'm with you. Why would you ask that? But that response doesn't help you when you feel unheard or unseen or unfelt or just downright betrayed. The real confusion sets in when the belief becomes, well, maybe they don't care about me because there's something wrong with me, or I'm doing something wrong, or that I'm lacking something. And that's not the reason why. It's not about you. It's really about what works for them. And at a given moment when it worked for them, then it seemed like they cared. But that was about them. It wasn't about caring for you. The belief that a narcissistic person kind of basically just really doesn't care can bring up a lot of grief, and that makes sense. It's a loss and a sadness to recognize this in a significant relationship. But my concern, again, has always been that it takes people to a darker place of, what is it about me? Remember, it's not you. And it can be particularly painful when it is a replay of what you may have experienced in childhood with a narcissistic parent, or still experience with that narcissistic parent. The art of caring is complex and deep. It requires empathy and self-awareness and compromise, none of which are really present with a narcissistic person. So when you are befuddled and wondering, so do they care? Not really, they don't. And hard as it is to hear that, it may be one of the most important bricks to fully understand as you build the road to radical acceptance. I hope that's helpful. It's a hard truth to hear, but I hope it is. Thanks again.